Hello, my most amazing artists. Happy May to everyone. You know that Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, I'm sure, and so I wanted to include a project this week for everyone to make a Mother's Day print, or print for a card, possibly. So this is a project that you're going to want to find an adult that is not your mom to help you with if you need a little help, or a sibling as well you could do. So what you're going to be creating this week is a collograph print. And a collograph print is a print that's made from a collaged printing plate. So I'm going to show you the steps on how to make that printing plate now, and I'll show you all the supplies you'll need for this. So here we go. All right, so as you can see, the supplies you're going to need for this are some cardboard. I've got a cereal box here that I'm going to use. You could also use granola, a granola bar box, or any of that kind of thin cardboard packaging you might have from products at home. So find that. Then you'll need scissors and a pencil and some glue and a piece of paper and a piece of tin foil. You'll also need some water-based markers for this, just your regular old markers, not permanent markers, and a damp sponge, and we'll use that a little bit later and I'll show you. Alrighty, so to get started with this, you're going to, first of all, create your printing plate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out this. Got that cut down to a nice size. This is actually probably even going to be maybe a little too big. I might fold mine in half. Because like I said, this is going to be a really nice, you can create a printing plate to print, make a print for your mom for Mother's Day. So the ideas as far as designing this are endless. That's really going to be up to you and the message you want to send to your mom. You could make just a picture cut out from different pieces of cardboard. You could also make some sort of a sign. I'm going to move everything out of the way so you can see what I'm working with here. Okay, so I'm going to use this as my printing plate. And then I'm going to use the extra cardboard that I cut out to make the designs that I'd like. So I'm going to go ahead, move my printing plate, and I'm going to just draw some things that I want to include. So I'm thinking for mine, I'm going to draw, just using a pencil, a big heart in the middle. And then I'm going to cut that out. Okay, so now I can start kind of arranging these things on my card. So let's see, I'm going to put the big heart right there in the middle. And then I was thinking for mine, I'm just going to cut out the letters M-O-M for mom here in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and lay everything out first before we glue it down. So that way you can, work with it and see maybe if you want to move something one way or another or turn it a different direction. Up to you. I think I'm going to keep mine the way I had it here. And then I'm going to go ahead, draw the letters M-O-M. The nice thing about mom is that the letters don't get turned around because the M's are on either side of that O. So that's the nice thing about this Mother's Day card. It can get a little tricky sometimes when you're doing lettering with printing because you want to make sure the letters are facing the same direction. But for mom, it works out just great. Okay, so once you have everything laid out, you can keep adding. You might even find some shapes that you've cut out that maybe would be kind of fun to add. I might just try kind of doing that a little bit and seeing what that looks like to have these fun shapes around it. All right, so once I have this here, I'm gonna go ahead and take my glue and I'm gonna glue everything down. Now, when you glue everything down, of course you wanna start with the things that are the highest up first and glue those down. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue the things on top of my heart down. Just a little glue. Press. Then I think I'm going to go ahead and glue this big piece first. So notice I'm just kind of outlining my piece with glue, and then maybe I'll add a little in the middle as well. Okay, glue that down. And then I'll glue my shapes that I created around it. So once you have everything glued down, you're just gonna let it dry just for a little bit. You don't have to wait too long, but give it just a little time to sit down. Then once you have everything glued down, or everything has had some time to sit, you're gonna go ahead and take that tin foil. You really only need you know, maybe a little bit bigger than your printing plate. So I'm going to just cut my foil down a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to take that foil and you're going to place it on top of your printing plate and then just press down, okay? Once you pressed it down on either side, you can take it gently, flip it over, and just bend that foil all the way around the back so it's nice and secure onto your printing plate. Same thing with this side, flip it. Okay, now you have your printing plate. You're gonna go ahead and press down just a little more just so that you can feel all of those textures, maybe press down around each one that you created. Okay. Now, after you've done this, it's time to grab your markers, okay? Now with your markers, those are gonna work as your ink for your printing. So you're gonna go ahead, choose whatever colors you'd like, and you're gonna start coloring in. Now, like I said, please make sure that you use water-based markers, as this printing will only work using water-based markers. If you were to use permanent markers, it would look really neat. You would create a really neat printing or piece of art, but in order to get that print that we're looking for, you need to use water-based so that we can get the ink from these markers to transfer onto our piece of paper. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. All right, so I'm going ahead and just choosing to have my heart be red in the background. Of course, all the color choices are up to you, but notice that as I'm coloring in, I'm not coloring in the M. I'm only coloring in the heart in the background. Make sure y'all can see that. Okay. Let me see if you guys can see this here so far. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and choose another color for my letters. So I think I'm gonna choose some blues for that. I'm gonna use some different colors. So one of the M's I'll color. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead, choose another color. I'm gonna use a different blue. This blue is called azure blue. And then I'll choose another blue. This one's called marina blue. This is a more true blue. Of course, when you're creating this for your mom, you want to keep in mind things that she might like. So when you're coming up with ideas for the card, you know, personalize it to your mom. Maybe you could cut out different things that she enjoys, and that could be what you put on your printing plate. So up to you. All right, so once you've colored that in, then you'll start coloring in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and color in those shapes that I have in my background first. Notice the raised surfaces are getting one color, and then the background will get another. Okay, I'm gonna do both of those green. All right, and now I just need to color in my background color, and I think for that I'm gonna use a pink. The wonderful thing about printmaking that I know I always bring up to you guys is that no matter what you do, you could just cut out or rip out a bunch of scraps of cardboard, glue them down to a printing plate, which is just another piece of cardboard. It's always gonna look neat, no matter what you do. I love that about printmaking. It's very forgiving. So I think that is one of the reasons that, especially as a child, I was really attracted to printmaking, because anybody can do it, and I feel like there's a lot of cool things about that. We are ready for printing. The great thing about this is you don't have to worry about, oh, I drew this, you know, I colored this in so long ago, maybe it dried up or something like that. It's great because you're going to wet your paper with your damp sponge before you make the print. You could even walk away at this point if you need to give your hand a rest, and then come back to it and make that print later. So don't worry about it drying up. Okay, so let's see, is my camera picking this up? I'm not sure you can see the color. Right there. Okay. Alrighty, so we are now ready for printing. I'm gonna go ahead and get my piece of paper that I have here. And for my card, I'm gonna go ahead and just fold my piece of paper in half. Make sure that those corners meet each other, and then you'll press down with the other hand to create that bind. And depending on how you want your card to look, if you want it to open from this way, of course you would have created a printing plate vertically to match that. I've created mine horizontally, longwise, so I'm gonna go ahead, or the wide side, and go ahead and turn my paper so it matches. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that damp sponge I have. Remember that we talk about this in the art room a lot as well. A damp sponge means that you have placed it under the water, and then you've squeezed all of that water out before you bring it over. You don't want it to be a sopping wet sponge, as that's gonna be too much water for this. So make sure it's a nice damp sponge, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and just open my paper back up, knowing that this is the side I want to print on. And I'm gonna take that sponge and I'm just gonna run it across the area I know I'm gonna print on. So I'm just making sure it gets nice and wet, okay? Then I'm going to take my printing plate. I'm gonna turn it upside down onto my paper. And then I'm going to press it down. Once you have pressed it down, do not lift it back up, okay? Because that's could shift it a little bit. So just leave it there once you get it, and then you're going to just press down with your hand. You could even do little small circles with your fist. Make sure that every little area on your plate is getting rubbed to make sure that all that ink gets transferred to the other page, okay? Once you've done that, you'll lift it up and you have your really, really cool printed card. Once this dries, of course, you can open it up and personalize it for your mom, and you have a Mother's Day card. Now, the great thing is, if you want to try again, or maybe you have two moms, or maybe you have another mom that you wanted to make this for that's special to you, you can go ahead, come back in, color this back over with marker, and make another print. You can make as many prints as you want with these printing plates. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that this is helpful as a fun Mother's Day project for you. Please email me and let me know how you guys like it, and show me any of the ideas that y'all come up with. I'd love to see them. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.